All right, everyone. I'm going to give it a couple minutes. Going to make sure everything is good. It shows I'm live. Let me just run some tests. Yo, what's up, everyone? All right, let me know if you guys could hear me okay. Go ahead and shout it out inside the chat. Let me open up this chat right here. Let me close this down. All right, dope. We're here. We're here. I see it. Cool. Thanks, Charlie. Charlie, we're doing this, man. We are doing this. We're taking it the whole way. Pez, so good to see you. So good to see you always. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Let me fix just one thing here to set it up for a screen share. I want to get my bottom toolbar out of the way. That way we get the full desktop view. All right, dope. You guys, I think we're getting the hang of this. Awesome. Awesome. Wait. Let me fix just one thing here. Where is that coming from? Okay. So one of my tabs is playing. Wait. Where is that coming from? Okay, it was a Bluetooth on my phone. All right, just as I was saying, we get in the hang of it. You see what happens. All right, try to get too cocky, and this is what happens. All right, it's all good. It's all good. We are doing this. What is up, everyone? I'm excited for this. All right, what's going on in the chat? Who's here? Charlie, Pez, James, what is going on, man? So good to see you here, James. All right, check it out. We're going to dive straight in today. All right, we're diving straight in. Last week, we broke down Charlie's website. We broke down a website, a real life actual website. And the whole goal for this mini series right here that we're going to do in this live is for us to use a real life case of a website, something that a lot of us will get. Whether we're going to a lot of the times when we get requested for websites, a lot of times they're rebuilds or improvements. Those, for me, in my experience, are the most use cases that I get for projects. So what we're doing here, and the goal is to use a real life case study, to use a real life website, applying the steps and the processes and what we could do to improve websites, how we can improve it. We're looking at a few things. We're looking at how could we improve the structure, how could we improve the design, how could we make the website more effective. So let me really quick, I just want to see, okay, everything's good here in Thailand, Charlie. Dope. All right. Let me just get settled. I'm getting in the zone. I'm getting excited because this is the kind of stuff I love to do. And I get to do it live. So while we're doing it, you're going to be able to see the process that goes into it. You're going to see my design process. You're going to see how the design thinking is taking place during the process. Also, this is a very good opportunity to be interactive, to be able to engage and ask questions, because the whole point of this is for us to learn together. So at any point during the live and as we're going through it, there's something you're unsure of, or if you have something that works for you, drop it inside the chat. I'm going to be stopping periodically, checking the chat, just to make sure that we are getting all the questions answered. And as I go through it now, in the tool I'm using, I'm able to star and save some chats, a message. I could save your question. That way we could come back to it when we take little pauses throughout this next step. All right, cool. Whoa, Godson, all the way from Africa. Man, I love this. I mean, all right, I'm just kind of like, just throwing out there one of the many things I love about web creation and doing what we do. Back before I was doing this, I was stuck in a little bubble. I mean, it was in LA, a big city, but still just stuck in it. Like the world was so small. And when we get out of it and we're inside this web creation, man, the world has opened up. I've had so many awesome calls with people all over the world, people in all kinds of different countries. Man, and it's just sometimes I just got to like pinch myself like, wow, I can't believe I'm meeting cool people in all these different countries and in all these parts of the world. We're connecting, where we have the same interests, the same passions. I mean, just one of the 1001 reasons why I love doing web creation. All right, cool. So I'm checking it out over here. I just want to get everything set up because we are going to dive right in. All right, you guys ready? Because check it out. We're only going to be here for 1 hour. Last week we did 2, but I'm not as young as I used to be, and doing 2 hours late at night, it kind of kills my productivity for the next day. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus for 1 hour. We're going to do this for 1 hour. And then next week, we're going to do the very final one. And same thing, we're going to keep it at an hour. So what we're going to have to do in order to do this is to maximize our time and productivity. Dave, it's so good to see you here. Dude, this is super dope. Oh man, I almost broke my Elementor mug. I got the new mic arm right here. So now with this new mic arm here, I could actually work. I don't know if you guys noticed, but before I had a little stand, it was like awkward trying to type. So hopefully that helps out. You know, let me make this a bit brighter. Yeah, I feel like I'm looking at here. It looks kind of dark. All right, we'll take that to 8%. All right, you guys ready? All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to get in the zone. Let me put this over here. So just to catch up, everyone, we're going to do a very, very quick catch up. I'm going to share my screen at any time. If audio cuts out or something, you guys can't hear me, please let me know. I'm going to keep a very close eye on this right here to make sure that we don't have any downtime. All right. Now, what we did last week was we broke down the scuba diving center. And real quick, oh, snap. We got a break over here. That was not supposed to happen. Huh. You know what? I didn't put one in here. It's no worries. Let me just see here the pages. I want to see if, let me go here to Elementor tools. It looks like CSS is, there we go. Still got a few breaks going on. Is it inside? Let me turn off the caching plugins here. And real quick, I'm going to jump back over here. Let me jump back here. And I just want to check in with you guys. Can you guys see the screen share okay? Are you guys hearing me okay and seeing the screen share? All of that, is it working? All right, I'm going to wait till I get a thumbs up before I turn the screen share back on. Let me see. Okay, I did disable all those. I did some updates on the plugins. All right, screen share is okay. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and do this right here. Let me maximize the screen share. No. All right. All right, cool. We should be in there right now. All right, looks like a few things broke. I did some updates on it, but do you know what? I know what happened. Okay, last week. Okay, all right. I'm caught up now. I remember what happened. We had issues with fonts. So what we did last week, and this is a tear down, build up. First thing we wanted to do was go through the site. We wanted to break it down. We wanted to look at any potential issues that the website had, like what needs to be addressed. We wanted to look at things that are going to hold the website back from reaching its potential. I mean, we looked at the design, but the first part we looked at was like the positioning, the layout, and we identified a few key problems. Then we also did that in the design. Now, some of the key problems, let me carry this over here. All right. All right. Some of the key problems were, let me actually move that there. There's some stuff in there. All right. There are 3 key problem areas. Number 1 was a lack of human and emotional connection. So that was the big one. That was the one I felt like really stood out. All right. So what we wanted to do is make more of a connection. Now, there's a lot of great pictures. They got fantastic pictures by Phil. We could put more people and build more of a human connection. The next one was lack of trust. If we're looking here, there's no testimonials, there's no like badges, certificates. The lack of trust is not here. And I do know from looking at this business, they do have trust. Like they have a whole lot of reviews. They got really good star ratings inside Google reviews. They're fully certified, so they do have a lot of opportunity to show trust. And then the next one is going to be inside the design. It was just an inconsistent design. I mean, for example, let me open this up right here. You can see, I'm just using this as a guide right here. If we scroll through, you know, there's a lot of misalignment going on all throughout the website. Even things like this, you know, it's just a whole lot of alignment and inconsistencies inside the design. Now, I identified those as the 3 primary problems that need to get solved. Whenever I'm doing a teardown or I'm like really looking into a website, what could we do? I don't want to create a huge long list. I don't want to make like 10, 15, 20 things we need to do. Instead, I like to focus in 3s. I operate on 3s. I feel 3 is a number that is easy to digest. You know, 3 is like 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. This is something that is much more achievable than stacking on a whole lot of things. And if we were to go ahead and hit those 3 things, if we were to be able to, let's go to the inconsistent design, which we're going to work on today. If we're able to solve the inconsistent design, well, then we're going to have a clean, polished, professional design by doing that. And then if we were to fix up the structure on this, and if we were to add the human connection, the emotional connection, if we're to do that by also adding trust and trust elements to this landing page, by doing just those things, this is going to help this business out tremendously. It's going to help them out big time, because it's going to, people who visit are going to be more likely to reach out. It's going to help conversions. I mean, now there's a whole bunch of other little things, but I don't want to get into it. Now, really quick to catch all you guys up, if you did not watch the first one, we did find an issue here, which took a bit of time. And that was in the fonts. There was something broken inside the fonts and the way the fonts were uploaded. And so what we're going to do today is start over completely from scratch. And that's the reason why we're seeing some breaks right here. So we're going to have to change all these fonts. There's something, I think it was something corrupted inside the font file, just the way it was done. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I do, I'm going to jump right over one more time. Let me hide this and see, how is everything going? Is everything cool? All right, cool. Nicholas, what's up, man? What's up? Dope. David, okay, so I did not do the Elementor update yet. I did do some updates. I should have done a backup too, but it's on my local. We're going to be messing this thing up anyways, big time. If it was a client site, though, if this is a client site, I would have been much more careful. Absolutely. You know, we would have ran backups and had backups of backups. In fact, I do have the backup file already, so I'm not really concerned with it. But for the Elementor update, me personally, when we get a big update, like going from 12 to 13, I like to wait about 1 or 2 weeks. I like to wait a couple weeks because I just find that quick patches usually come out. Like there's already 13.01, which I'm sure is already patching up a few things. That's just me. I like to let other people test it out, you know, see if it breaks it. Elementor fixes it up real quick, just those little tiny bugs. But here's the thing, bugs happen all the time. We live in a world of bugs. The whole thing of development are fixing bugs, you know, and I'm not really worried about it, but I'm not going to do that one right now. I'll wait till next week to start testing that out. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and dive into this. I'm gonna show this on my screen. All right, we're good. And then I'll check back in for questions. All right, so we have those 3 issues, the lack of human emotional connection and the lack of trust. We're going to tackle that next when we do the wireframing and structure. We're going to restructure things up. Before we do the restructuring, though, I do want to put together a design system. That way we could get some consistency going on over here. Now, I want to show you, like right now, I'm working on my own personal site, the new Lytbox Academy site. Even as I'm working on my site, I'm creating a design system something that I can follow. Now, I mean, you could do it the fancy way inside Figma. If you are a Figma user, it's a great place to do it. But also, look at, I start right here inside my notebook. I do most of my wireframing and most of my stuff just inside of a notebook. A lot of the times that's good enough. And I think quicker when I'm drawing it out. But for this, it does help to have the visual. Now, the way this works and the way that we're going to use it, first off, things like border radiuses. Okay, this one's got sharp corners. All right, sharp. So it's got 0 border radiuses, which is good. All right, so that's cool right there. But sometimes we'll see a site, it'll have like sharp corners. It'll have 2 pixels. It'll have 10 pixels. You might have some that are super rounded. What we want to do is we want to make it consistent. So right now I'm doing max and min. This is, again, a little bit more advanced. This is for variables, but usually I just set it up for 1. And I stick with that same border radius throughout the whole site for all of my cards and images. Like right here, this one is going to be 12. This is for my site. We're going to do this for Charlie's site as well. The next one are going to be the gaps. I want to make sure our gaps are consistent as well. We're going to simplify, again, min and max. This is, using more variables, clamping and stuff like that. But to simplify it, we're just going to set one gap. Keep that gap consistent throughout the whole site. I usually stick with either 20 or 24. Those are my sweet spots. And what that gap is going to be, it's going to be like right here. This is a perfect example. We got this really wide gap here in between these 2 images. But then right here in between the rows, we got this very small gap. So what we want this to be equal right here. We want it to be even. And then we're going to have the same gaps like right here. They're all big and so on. So we're going to keep that consistent. Okay. Spotify's telling me something. Did I have that on? Let me check in. Okay. My computer did something weird. All right. Let me see. I want to make sure. Can you guys hear me before we keep going? All right. Let me hide this. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, you know what? I try to put myself in that corner, but for some reason, I'm trying to do it, but it wasn't just working out that way today. It's all right. You don't need to see me on here. Okay, cool. As long as you guys can see the screen share and listen, it's all good. It's all good. All right, cool. Let me jump back into this. I'm getting the hang of this software right here and navigating. All right, dope. All right, cool. Next up right here, we're going to do our buttons as well. Oh, that one's not aligned. I'll have to fix that right there. Okay, so our buttons. I try to keep my buttons minimal as well. I don't want a bunch of different types of buttons. Usually 3 buttons, maybe even 2 will work. I think for Charlie's site, 2 buttons will work. Now, I've been messing around with this. Okay, I still see something that needs to be fixed. I'm currently working on this myself right now. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to define his buttons. We're going to make a few of them. And then we could just reuse those buttons across the site. The thing is, if we have buttons that are like some squared, some rounded, and they are all over the place, it makes it more confusing for the end user to identify where they should be clicking on and where they should look at. By keeping buttons consistent, it's going to make it a lot easier on the UI and the UX. Also, we want to do a couple different versions, like a primary and secondary. We want one to really stand out. And I'll show you that probably like when we start implementing this. But always we're going to have what I call the peacock button, the one that stands out, the one that's flashy, and then a secondary button, one that just lets the users know easily like, hey, this also does something as well. All right, so this one right here, this one is super important. This is our containers right here, or sections. And what we want to do for them, we want to keep them consistent. I don't want too many different styles. I don't want a whole bunch of different types of spacing. We want to keep the side spacings the same on everything. 20 pixels or 24 pixels. Those are really the sweet spots. And we keep it the same like this because it's going to be great for mobile. Okay, when it shrinks down, it's going to be less work for you to do all the mobile and doing more changes on it. Just do it once on desktop, set it at 20. When it goes down to mobile, you're going to have that clean line. But by doing this, this simple trick, it's really not that complicated. By just doing this one thing and following it through the whole website, we are going to fix this issue happening here on the sides where it's all choppy. We're going to have a clean alignment. This left side right here should be a straight, clean line all the way down. All right, next up, we're going to have our cards. We could identify our cards, and then our text right here as well. So we're going to do the text, and well, we always start off with the text actually. Okay, what I have here though is our spacing. Sometimes I do 20, 20, 20. Sometimes like right here, it's just because of the fonts I'm using for my personal site. I stuck with 24 to add a little bit more. And if you look at my numbers, you're going to see I do everything by 4s. All right. You can do things by 10s, by 20s. The whole point of it is to find a system that works for you and stick with the system. I've been doing this over and over and over and over, where it just became second nature. For me, I stick with 4s. Usually it's like 12, 16, 20, 24, and I'm keeping everything there. But a lot of the times it's like 12, 20, 24. Well, I hope that makes sense right there. But if your thing is like 10s and you just want to do everything 10s, that's great right there. If you want to do everything at 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, that's cool. But I would try to stick with even numbers. I just find it's a lot easier to do the math when you're working with even numbers, because every now and then I got to break out the computer and do math in order to keep this system working. All right, so what I have here is I got my subheader. I want to have 20. Okay, this is another thing too. And this is all personal preference right here. It's going to be totally up to you. But I find that because I do work with other developers, that having the set system works better. Because look at with Elementor, we could go padding top, we could go padding bottom, we go margin top, we could go margin bottom. Choose one and stick with it. I chose padding bottom, and I go padding bottom on everything. It just makes things so much easier. So like right here, my subheader, I'm going to put 24 pixels padding on the bottom. The header is going to be 20 pixels on the bottom. If I'm doing paragraph by paragraph, it'll be 20 pixels. But if I have a paragraph like right here, an element, it could be a card, it could be another section, it could be a call to action button, I'm going to put 40. And this is just a system that I created right here. If you're following along and want to do the system for yourself, find what works best for you and just like detail it, write it out. You could just do it in a notebook as well and just write out your system and then update it as you're going through your process. Now, there's one other thing I forgot to put here, and that was a width, container width. All right, I stick with just 2. I picked 2 container widths. Now I work on a 12 column grid, a 12 column system, and 12 columns. And then, yeah, well, okay, I did that in the last slide. I'm not going to do that right here. But basically, my main container width that I use is 1280 pixels. Now this is again personal preference right here. Find what works best for you. I like 1280. 1366 is another one that works really well, especially for larger screens. I try not to go too small though. I know like the default Elementor is like 1140 or something. For me, I feel that's just too narrow, and it's a lot more apparent with me because I'm working on a 32-inch screen. But this is just what I like to work with. It works well for me. So that's the large. Let me go ahead and group that. I'll fix that up later. And then I do one more, and the other one I do is 846 pixels. And that is my small one. That would be for, let me see here. That would be for a section like, let's see here. There's going to be some small sections here. Maybe the FAQ. The FAQ doesn't have to be this big. You got the full width sections, the big ones with like, with like a paragraph and text. We want that to a paragraph and image. We want that to be full. But then if we were going to have like smaller paragraphs, smaller sections, well, I'm going to use 846. And let me see. I could go ahead and show you the reason why. The reason why I do this, just in case if you miss it on the last one right here, I always start with a 1440 board. Let me go ahead and add my layout over here. I'm going to turn this to columns. I'm going to create 12 columns here. I'm going to keep 20 pixels as my gutter because that's what I usually use for my system. And then I'm going to add margins on the side because when I'm designing, I want spacing here. Now, when I look at this here and I look at the full 12 columns, we can see here it's 1280. When I go down here and I turn this into an 8-column grid, right here, an 8-column section, oops, we're going to have 846. So that's the reason why I choose these two numbers right here. And I stick with them. And the main thing is when we are putting together a design system, keep it minimal. The less, the better. The more you have, the more chances you have to make things messy, to get confusing, the more chances it is to confuse the end user. The less that you have, the easier it is going to be to keep that design consistent and clean. And at the end of the day, a consistent and clean website is going to win out over one that's trying to be overly creative or, you know, like just trying. We don't have to try to go way far to try to make a website for awards. First, get down the basics. Like first, make it like nice and clean. All right, cool. Before we jump over to the next step, I am going to take a look and see, are there any questions? And I need to take a sip of my tea as well. Uh-oh, it's kind of quiet in here. What's up, everyone? What happened? Don't tell me it was on mute again while I was going through all that. All right, just a lot of thumbs up. All right, are we still here? Is everyone still? Are we still live? You guys got to let me know if you're live. I need to know. In case if you don't know, like being in your room, talking to yourself alone in front of a camera and watching yourself on a screen makes you start to question your sanity. So I kind of need you guys. All right, thanks, Charlie. Okay, cool. Thanks, Pez. I needed that reassurance. Awesome, awesome. Okay, let me close that out. Okay, let's go ahead and keep this rolling. All right. Let me go back over here. Okay, now where to begin on the site? Once we have all this, like where to start? What I want to do is I want to create a branding page. I know we started that last week, but it was late at night and I felt like, you know, it was just getting too late for me and I was getting a little spacey on it. All right, so we're going to start all this over right here. I'm going to remove all that right there. All right, cool. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get, I always start off with the basics. I always want to get our text. I always want to get our font styles, and then I want to get our color styles as well. All right, so we got our font styles right here. Let me create something for our text right here, for our colors, I'm sorry. All right, let me create some spacing. And see, this is how I follow the system right here. I'm going to be following. It gets so consistent and repetitive over and over. And then if you do know CSS, you could always just create a class and define these rules, and it's going to save you a whole lot more time. Saul Reno, he did something like that with Living with Pixels, and it to me, it is the best way instead of going in here over and over, you know, if you can't do that. All right, now I also want to go over here and give my gaps. All right, dope. Let's go ahead and I'm going to drop in a spacer in here. Let me give us some space. I'm going to make this 250. I'm just setting up the stage for everything right now. Let me copy that, paste. All right, we're going to get the basics. I'm just setting things up right here. And you could do this on your client side as well. This is a great way to show your clients the thought process that goes behind their design. All right, so you can see right here the colors that we have. First off, all right, check it out. This is the reason why I'm not adding colors in yet, because we're about to delete all of these. All right, we're about to start from scratch. Let me first update. All right, so for the global fonts, we need to fix all this because the font that was added, I felt the file was corrupted. People did ask me in the last stream, like show like actually adding a font. We're going to do that, and it's actually kind of quick to add a font. So we're going to add a brand new font to all this and delete all of it. I mean, all right, cool. I'm just going to leave it right there. Now, going back to the colors. Oops. So for the color palette, it's just, that's one of the things. Oh, wait, let me see here. I need to open up a new tab so we could get a reference. All right, let me open this up so I could toggle. So one of the things I identified as well inside the design was the colors. Like up here, we had the red, we have the WhatsApp green right here. We have like this blue, you know, different green and stuff like that. Yes, funny things are starting to happen. We'll have to get all those. We got this orange right over here. You know, light blue right over here. So colors are kind of all over the place. And then when we look over here, we can see why we have all these different colors going on. I'm just going to trash them. I want to start all over. Because we're going to define our colors. We're going to make it more minimal. And look at, even for my own website, look at, this is it for my site right here. Like I have this set right here on the left. This is the main colors that I'm using. And usually for 95% of sites, these are all that is needed. I mean, we could add shades, but if you are still in your early days of design, still learning, still, you know, haven't gotten to like design theory and like things are starting to fill off with your designs, stick with a color palette that's minimal like this. I have a secondary one, but I also do some more advanced design. I know how to use these secondary colors. But for anybody else that's in the newer stages, I would not attempt this because I couldn't do this just a few years ago. There's no way. A few years ago, if I would have tried to use all these colors, I wouldn't have been able to because I didn't understand how to add in other accents and other highlights. It needs to be done so carefully and thoughtfully. All right, let's go here. Let's keep deleting them. Like right here, we got the FFF white, you know, like straight white. I try to not use hard whites like FFF or hard black 000. It's just, I feel like both of them are just too harsh. Always want them to be off a little bit. All right, we're going to delete that. Now we can't delete these right over here. Okay. We're going to make these our primary ones right over here. So I'm going to make this our primary. And then I'll change the name. I like to change names of things. And this one will be our secondary. And I'll give it a new name. I don't even like using primary and secondary. Like, check this out. These are my font names. Like, this one's Blackberry. This one's Blueberry. This one's Mintberry. You know, this one's Kiwi Berry. I like giving weird names to my colors because this is where us as creatives, we could get creative and have some fun. And this is where, too, we find our own styles and just have fun with it. Okay, cool. So now we need to find our colors. Uh-oh, what happened here? Okay, let me update this. So there are resources we could go to for it. One of the ones I like is, let me pull up my raindrop. This is where I store all my tools right over here. Let me see. Hue Mint is one of my favorites right now that I use for finding color palettes. I used to use like coolers and things like that, but there's something about Hue Mint where we could actually see the website and we could get more of a visualization on how it's used. All right. Okay, here we go. So one thing I did like inside Charlie's website, one thing that stood out, and also I do have to point this out that before doing this, I was researching and taking a look at a lot of other diving websites, things that were similar, and trying to get ideas. You see, I really like this color scheme right here. This could work. All right, first off, we need to have blue. Blue needs to be a base. This is a diving company on Phuket, which is like super, super beautiful beach resort, like postcard type of stuff. I think this color palette right here works really well. You can see here, like this color palette, I don't think I would go with the, yeah, I mean, I could go and just, all right, here's another challenge too. I know we're kind of bouncing around, but this I feel is a challenge that a lot of business owners have when they are looking for their websites, for they're looking for what direction to go in. A lot of times they do what I did right here. They research other diving companies or other related industries. We had a client that his industry, he built his site himself and he got his inspiration from other people in his industry. But the problem was the people in his industry were all homegrown construction type of guys building their own websites. Like nobody had a professional designer come in that knew how to do branding, that knew how to do positioning, knew how to choose colors and do all this stuff. Nobody had that inspiration was not there. So when you do find yourself like trying to find inspiration, and you're looking inside your client's market, you're looking in their market and you're going through website through website through website, and they all look a lot like really amateur looking, like they're just homegrown built. Start to look outside that industry. You could take things like right here. I love this. I love this background image right over here. I think this is one I would use. I like, they have cards. We could use parts of this right here for our inspiration, but then we could find a professionally built and designed website to use as our guide on how to put all of this together. So don't feel like you need to be stuck inside your industry. Now, I'm going to take a look at this right here. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take a little shortcut right now. I'm kind of inspired by this right here. I could kind of see this working. And then one other thing too was I saw that orange working somewhere else as I was going through this. All right, not red. I don't think red would fit in any way. Was this the one? But orange does look kind of dope. Okay, yeah, like right here. I thought the way that they use orange, because look at in here, the orange matches a lot of the fishes. I thought that was done really well. The fishes, the coral, I think that color could work. So, do you know what? Let me start a fresh one right here. No, not import. I'm just going to start something fresh right here. 2, 3. Let me do one more. All right. All right, cool. Now the main one needs to be blue. So we could find a blue, and then we could start off with there. So I think blue, but I also want to do a modern blue. All right. So a good way to tell if it's modern, I mean, look at that hat. I want a blue like my hat. I feel like that's modern. Modern is colorful. It pops. It stands out. Something that was about 5, 6, 10 years ago was more muted, more pale. It didn't pop out as much. Next up, and this is a reason why I downloaded that logo, because I could use this. All right. Okay. Dope, dope, dope. And then the next one, let's see about some kind of an orange. All right. And then, you know what? I like just 3. If I was going to do another one, I'd do like a background. And let's move this to the blue. And I'll just move this just a little bit. There we go. All right, cool. This will be like our black. And let me put a stroke so we could see it. I'll make that stroke blue. So that way we could kind of get an idea. So this is where I would start off with my color scheme right here. Now for the fonts, let me do one more. We're going to make our text only 2 different colors. I really don't want to make text a bunch of different colors. We could do a couple things. We could either make it, oh, where did that color come from? Oh, okay, that's theirs right there, which is actually really good. You see, that's what they did here. They chose a blue, the black. It wasn't too black, and that's what we want. We don't want black all the way over here. That's too hard. But we also don't want it to be light and gray. So like we want to decide this area, but since we are leaning towards a bluer theme, we could always try making like a blue black and using that for the text. If we're going to use blue in the background, if we're going to have like underwater stuff, we're going to have ocean, we're going to have beaches, scuba diving. I feel having a black that is more in the blue spectrum is going to fit the design a whole lot better. All right, we're going to start with this right here. And I got to make sure my gaps are all even. All right, let me center that. Okay, this is just for inspiration right here. This is a good starting point. All right, you know what? Now what I want to do is I want to test it. And a good way to test it, okay, we don't need that. It's over inside here. A good way to test it is inside humans. All right, that's the background. Let me put this color as our background right here, because we're going to make it a bit light. All right, let me lock that right there. Okay, it looks like that's the font. Okay, let's take this for our font. See how that looks. All right. Cool. All right. Now I'm on the 4K color graded monitor right here. Like mine is made just for design. And I could see there's a big difference right here from this really dark black to here. It might be hard. It's one of those things that I feel that a lot of times is going to be something we can't put our finger on, but it's just sort of like a subconscious thing. Really quick though, I've been sharing my screen for a while. Let me dip in over here and see if there are any questions. All right, any questions come up? Fish and corals. Charlie, that's it, man. Fish and corals. Let's play with that. That is like, that's what people come out for. You know, like I know that a lot of people coming out to Phuket are travelers, and a lot of them probably are new. They see the beaches, they want to go out, and you know, they just like I snorkel out there, and it's like snorkeling inside a fish tank. It's so crazy, though. Pantolo, what's up? All right, cool. Let's keep this rolling. Let me. Dang, it's already been 42 minutes. All right. Okay, let's see here. Let's jump back over here. All right, now we're going to play with our primary color right here, and then we could adjust it. Okay, I'm going to use that right here. All right, I can see I feel now it's a bit more on the purplish side now that I'm seeing it here. Use in this way. And let me see here. What should I do? I think we should lean more towards this. I do like this mint color right here. Wow, that looks clean right there. This it kind of looks like my hold on, where is it at? Okay, it's another design system. All right, maybe I should get away from the mint. I might be biased towards it because that's what I'm designing. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and move this more this direction. All right. Yeah, I felt it was a bit on the purple side. All right, here we go. We're getting more of a true blue side right here. This mint. What would happen, though, if we put in the orange? Oops, did I do that here? I did it here. First lock this in. Okay. Now look at when it comes to using the colors, we're going to use the 60-30-10 rule. And what the 60-30-10 rule is, 60% is going to be the primary. That's going to be this blue right here. This orange would be a 10. For sure would be a 10. This might even be a 60. This might be 30, and this would be 10. All right, this could work. What I'm going to do here, though, this is what you could do on your own. You could go ahead and find the colors that you like and start to generate and try to get ideas. You see, I just keep generating. I could go ahead and switch what I'm looking for if I'm not getting what I want to get. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep these right here. I feel very confident to go forward with these. I'm going to update this color. All right. Okay, that's more of the deep blue. I feel that's going to be more in line with what Charlie already has. And nothing else was adjusted. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this one off. Now, going back over here to the board, let's go ahead and give it the colors. So first of all, I'm going to do is go to my site settings, to my global colors, and we're going to give them right here. So this primary, I'm going to make it my blue. All right, let me go over here. We're going to call this ocean blue. The next one, the secondary, let's go ahead and give it this deep sea green. I'm going to call it sea green. I'm going to call it sea breeze. I'm a little creative tonight. All right. We'll see if we can make that work. If we can't, we'll remove it. No harm done at all. We're going to keep our text and our titles the same color. We don't need to make those different colors. All right. And I'm going to call this, let me see. I'm just going to call this fonts. Let's keep that simple. So if somebody else is on it, they know that this is fonts. And then over here, we're going to give it this highlight right here. I'm going to call this clownfish. Color of a clownfish. And then I'm going to create this off-white right here. Not that creative, I know. All right, now let's go ahead and save this. And let me create a new container. So we got, uh-oh, what's happening here? All right, so we're going to drop that in here. Let me add the style 20, 100, and 100. All right, cool. Now we could go ahead and duplicate, make 5 containers. All right, let me go over here and give this a gap. You know, when we start doing this over and over, and we're going to define this all here before the end of the stream. Once you do that, use this going forward, it changes everything. The design just completely changes. Let me throw a spacer in here. I'm going to make this, let me make this one now 200. And copy, paste. All right, now going back over here to my background, let's go ahead and drop them in. Now, I know this is extra work. And you can see it's not something that could just be done in 10 or 15 minutes. There's a whole thought and planning process behind this. But by taking these extra steps, this is what is going to make the design just stand out a whole lot more. This is what's going to create a professional style design right here with these few extra steps. All right, cool. We got our fonts. This might take some time. You know what? Let me jump ahead right here. First thing I want to do is let me create our sections right here because I feel this is okay. See, this is super important to do to start off with. All right, let's go ahead and drop in the inner container so that way we could see it. All right, inside this inner container, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy this style. I'm going to paste it right in here. Now we got this extra space inside here. Let me drop in a heading. Let me create a background right here so we could actually see it. All right, now inside this heading, oh, geez, we need to fix these fonts up. All right, we'll have to get those coming up next for sure. What I want to do inside here is define it. All right, so let me see. What do we do? We're going to define it just like what we did right here. We got our large, medium, and small. I'm just going to call this large container. And then you could go ahead and define it and style it up the way that you like to do. You know, so I'm just going to put 100 pixels by 20 pixels. 100 top and bottom, 20 side by side. And now we can see it. And let me center that. And then I could just go ahead and duplicate this a couple times. And then right here, I'm going to make this the medium. And then I would actually fix this as well. Make sure the styles are matching. This is going to be 80. And then we get a visual out of it. Same thing here, 80 and 80. And let's go over here. I'm going to put small container, and 60 by 60. And let's go ahead and fix this one up here. Fix up this outer container right here, just so that way we could actually see it. But not only that, you could use this to copy and paste. If you don't want to write like CSS and create a class to do that, you could always keep one window open and drop in a new container, copy and paste the style right over there, and you're set up and good to go. It's a tedious little step, but these right here, they work. All right, let me go ahead and duplicate this. We got just one more step to do. Now that this is at 1280, we want to make our secondary one, which is going to be 846. All right. This is just an extra step. This is like really just to detail everything, but we could do it super fast right here. All right, 846 and the small one. All right, now that we have those, and you would do the same thing with these. All right, I could start off inside my notebook and I could go ahead and create these. Right here, I could go back here and I could, you know, the next one I'll do like cards. You know, I'll go ahead and let me create another container. I could go here, copy and paste my style to save a lot of time right here. And now I could go ahead and create cards with my other style. So let me do 4. Duplicate and duplicate. And now with this, we could go ahead and define our card style right over here and so on. So I'm not going to do this one right here because we are running out of time. What I'm going to do is, because we are going to be picking this up in next week's live stream, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, complete all this on my own on the outside. All I'm going to do is create my cards. I'm going to define them. You know what? Let me do something. Let me give it a shot. I think we could do this kind of quickly. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and do this one really quickly. I think we can. All right, the first thing I want to do is let me add in some elements just to fill things up. Wait, I'm going to drop in that, and let me drop in a button. All right. Oh, I wish I had Elementor AI right now on this. I could just go ahead and click on Add me some lorem ipsum. By the way, who is using Elementor AI? Who is already finding a good use to use it? I mean, right now, I could see a good use. That would have just saved me 30 seconds right there. All right, let me drop this down to a P. All right. Now, right here, you could define everything inside here. Like I could go in and I could define my system. Remember 20 pixels on the bottom? Like this system right here that I have. We don't have a subheader, so don't worry about that. But I got a header, I got a paragraph, and I got an element, a button. So right here, what I would do is I could go here at the same, go on the bottom, 20. Oh no, I mean 40. I'm sorry. 40, and then have my system right there. Now, I know you could also go in here and do the gap in between. You could also just do 20. So let's say your system is 20, 20, 20. You want it even. I like to have extra space around my buttons because I feel it's easier for somebody to use. But if you don't, you could always do it a lot easier by just using the gap in between. All right. So we got that. Now, to define my card, I would go in and let me see. Let's create our padding on it. I'm going to put 20 pixels. You know, I'm going to do 24. I'm going to do 40 on top and bottom. All right. And this is totally preference right here. It's totally up to you, your preference. Let me put a background on it so we could see what we are doing. I'm just going to put the off-white. Should I do off-white? All right, I'm just going to do the sea breeze so that way we can see it. Now this right here, we still got to fix up our font styles, but I feel that's going to be a bit of a bigger job coming up. Yeah, we're not even getting to the fonts or buttons yet, but you see how we could do it. Let's just go back to the card and focus on it. Now, we're defining the padding inside the card. This is something we want to keep consistent. The next thing we want to define is going to be the border radius. What do we want for border radius? Do we want it sharp or rounded? We can leave it rounded. Right now, though, we're going to leave it sharp because that's what Charlie already has. I might change it later on when we go into the design. Right now, we're starting off. The next thing we want to define is going to be the box shadow. Are we going to use it? And if we are going to use it, again, we need to keep it consistent. I feel like I want to use a box shadow for this one, but I want to use a very light, subtle one. And here is a common one that I use right here. In fact, let me move it to more, keep it in my 4s. And you can leave it on black. It's all good, but I am going to make it light. I usually leave it at about maybe 0.2. Might be fine. Now, from here, you could go ahead and boy, we got to fix that font up. It's all good. Once that is fixed up, it's sweet. It's good to go. Okay, we could put in the card styles. All right, border radius is going to be 0 pixels. Padding is going to be 40 pixels by 24 pixels. And then what was the next one? The box shadow. Box shadow. This is going to be 12. It's going to be 0. Hold on. 0, 12, 40 minus 4, and 0.2. All right, you can go ahead and fix all of that up the way that you want to. That makes sense to you. The thing is, make this yours. You got to make it yours. That is the whole point of this. You make it yours. Let's get out of here. Let's see. Does that? Yeah, something is weird happening with these fonts. Ooh-wee. Yeah, there's something broken. I'm going to fix that, though, on my own because we're out of time right now. Okay, but what we got over here, yeah, see, we have this default padding here on the bottom. There are a few things we need to fix, and when we do inherit a site, we're going to see it. I wish we could zoom in. Can I zoom in? Yeah, let me zoom in here. Let me close this and try to zoom in. You know, what we're looking for and what we want to avoid are when we have something like this. See, we just defined the padding right here. We made the padding nice and consistent in line. Excuse me. Let me get some water. We made it in line with our styles. Like I do mine in fours. You're going to have your own system. But when we see something like this, and we see like the pink box, you can see that we have more spacing going on. There's something happening. And this is the reason why we need to take this step, because especially if we're working and fixing up a website, because we need to identify it and fix it. Because right now I could set up my system, I could define this card, but as long as I have elements in here that are not working right, that have, this has spacing on the top and bottom, you know, as long as I leave it there, the system is not going to work. It's going to be broken. The systems are mathematical. They're very detailed. Let me get this back to 100. They are very, very detailed. They're down to a pixel. This is the pixel perfection type of design work we want to do. But this is what's going to separate a site that looks professional and polished, even if it's simple and minimal, but it's still going to look professional just by having this kind of system in place. And we got to be really detailed. This takes OCD. It takes a whole lot of extra care. But this also, let me stop the screen share really quick. Let me put this right here. But this right here, when we start doing stuff like this and taking our designs and our work to the next level, where we are implementing design systems like this into the design, this is where our value increases a whole lot. And for increasing our value, we should be increasing our prices because we're offering a lot more. With Elementor, it's sure we could go ahead and build a website in a day, in a couple of hours. But when I hear a site has been built in a few hours or even a few days, I feel that there's no way we can get it to a professional level that quick. It takes some time and care. Doesn't have to take you months though. In fact, here's the thing. When you start doing what I'm showing you right here with this kind of system, you get faster and faster with it. I use the same system over and over. That's the key as well. I don't change it and build a new system for every website because websites are very, very similar. They're all same blocks and structures. We're just arranging them differently, styling them differently, doing our own creative twist on them. But the details, the gaps, the spacing, the containers, the border radiuses, the box shadows, those type of things, when we use the same systems or similar system over and over, it becomes second nature. Like right now, really, I don't need to build a brand page anymore because I do the same thing over and over. I know right away when I start a project, every gap is going to be 20 pixels. All my spacing is going to be this. All my containers are going to be this. Everything is going to have a 20 pixel padding bottom, except for the ones that have an element underneath. And it's going to be over and over and over consistent. And then you get a whole lot faster. All right. Whoa, we did that right here. I want to do more. All right. I wanted to do more. Antola says, is see my OCD kicking in? Hey, I got it. And it's a fine line between OCD and perfection. All right. Perfectionism, not good. We want to stay out of it. Something that helps me with that is something I heard Seth Godin say. Seth Godin talks a lot about perfectionism with creatives, and he says something that turned into a mantra of mine, which is it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. So whenever I get stuck in it, but at the same time, my OCD, you saw my Figma, I couldn't leave my gaps without being 20. Like I use a 20 pixel system so much that it just becomes, it has to be a line like that over and over and over. Look at another thing is too, like once you get it down and you put these practices in place, it evolves and we always find ways to improve. In fact, looking at the system that I showed you right now, I've already found ways to improve and I've been improving my system. One of the things I've started doing recently that I'm starting to apply, and it's like the next sites that I'm building, is setting my root to 62.5% with a 10 pixel text space and going more into using rem and m using that system right there. So like I'm even updating my systems and looking to improve. The main thing is don't keep changing quickly. I've like That's just for me. My suggestion is not to make everything different every single time you do it. Try to keep it where it becomes systematic, where it becomes a flow. And then when it does, look for ways to improve it. And then this is how we learn and just get better. Where are we at with this? Who else got OCD? All right, Nikos got OCD. Awesome, awesome. Mia said do more. Should we do the fonts right now? Do you guys want to stay? We could do the fonts real quick. Those fonts are driving me insane right now. They would say, yeah, consistency, spacing. It's the little things. It makes such a huge difference. Erica, awesome. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So many people think, let me pull this up. So many people think that web design development is just like pushing a button. That's something that just happens by itself. To create great websites require a lot of expertise, knowledge, and passion. Well said, yeah. Well said. It takes expertise, knowledge, and passion. And it takes obsession. You got to be obsessed. You got to have some sort of obsession to stay up and to make all these little details and to keep taking it this far. Okay, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do the fonts, but after that, I got to wrap it up because I will, yeah, my productivity like just shoots way down if I don't get proper sleep. It's weird. I can't even sleep in. 5 a.m., 6 a.m., I'm wide awake. Yeah, Pez. All right. So Pez says, the little things that go into this. And, that's the reason why we're doing this live stream right here, because I want to give a chance to show those little things. So I feel like the little things aren't really being shown a lot. My first years building websites, becoming a designer, I didn't see that. Now when I'm going through tutorials, I'm learning, I'm trying to build it on my own. And it wasn't until I got I got a design, like just a straight up design ninja, to be my mentor and help teach me. And what she taught me set me on my path to design, to be able to look for these things. Like I couldn't even see them. If you sent me a website like Charlie's website here, the diving website, I would not have been able to see those things. I couldn't. I'm not artistic. This isn't like something I was just naturally born with. It took a lot of work and training and learning how to see that stuff. So I'm hoping this helps out. Oh, Melissa, it's all good. It's all good. It's all being recorded, so it'll be on for sure. So good to see you here. All right, let me see. Nikos, it's more difficult to explain to a client who has no clue about web design that you have to spend so much time before everything starts. You know what? The beginning part, this is like the most important step in the process. If we skip this step, if we skip the step of the strategy, of the research, and of putting together a system and a process, that's the foundation. We're skipping the foundation. If we skip the foundation, it's just like we're just going random. This is not random. What we're doing, nothing here is random. It's all methodically thought out every step of the way. And Erica asked, do I mentor anyone? I do. In fact, you got to check out the Lytbox Pro Academy. We do this on a larger scale. Every single week, we're having calls as groups. We're always going through all this together. In fact, I see a mentee inside right now here, which, to me, this makes me excited because, I didn't get here alone. If I didn't have the right people come into my path when they did, I might still be scrambling around trying to figure things out. It wasn't until I had to learn from people, and we have to do this together. And I definitely like to mentor and work with others and connect with others. I just want to be able to give back as well. It's exciting to see other people progress. I've seen some people just go from like what I was doing. Like, if you would have seen my first sites, oh my God, Charlie, your site is so much better than my first sites in my first probably 2 years. All right, cool. So check it out. We're going to go ahead and do these fonts really quick. Then after that, I'm going to jump back into the chat and then bounce out. So Let's go ahead and do this. Let's do this. All right. Okay. All right, so back over here, we got these fonts, and let me go back here. Let me close this tab out. And check it out, just to give you guys a preview of next week. Next week, we're going to be going into structure. We're going to be going into something more. Now, this is something from a workshop that I ran before, but we're basically going to be working on the structure as we basically redo this whole thing right here. We're going to redo all of it next week. All right. What we want to do back over here is I want to get new fonts because something's wrong. I'll figure out what that is off of here. I'm going to go over here to the custom fonts, and I am going to, you can tell this is a very UK site, bin, toss it in the bin. All right. I'm going to delete this one permanently. Let's clean it out, get it out of there. One other thing I want to do as well, let me go to media. All right. Would it be here? All right. I just want to make sure we don't have any. All right. It shouldn't be in there. It should be. See, okay. Yeah, sometimes when we delete the fonts, I just found this recently. When we delete the font inside like Elementor custom fonts, and it's not just Elementor. I was working on bricks earlier today, deleting fonts and uploading some new optimized fonts. The font files still stay inside there. So I just want to be really thorough and get rid of everything. Another thing that's been helping me out is Happy Files Pro. Oh man, such an amazing plugin, guys. You guys got to really get that one. It's been helping me organize everything, keep all my images and everything super, super clean. I got to do a video on that because I've seen it, but until I actually used it, I didn't realize how dope it was. All right, next up. I need water. Let's go to Google Fonts and get our fonts. All right, so we could, you know what, I'm going to leave this to Charlie. Charlie, do you want to keep the same font or do you want me to choose a new font for you? We could do Montserrat, which is the one that you had. Let me download that. All right, or I was thinking to use Poppins. I like Poppins. It's very versatile. I'll jump into this. Actually, Charlie, give me a heads up. Let me see here. Ben, who's calling his name? Oh, I forgot. I still got you there. David, Happy Files is dope, right? That's right. All right. Okay. Charlie said I choose. Dope. Let's do this. I got it. No. All right. Let me jump back in here. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we got to optimize these fonts over here. All right. So I'm not even going to touch Montserrat. We're going to go to Poppins. It's versatile, easy to use. And I'm going to remove all the ones that we aren't going to use. All right, we'll use bold. We're not going to use any italics. We're not going to use an extra bold. We're not going to use that. We're not going to use extra light because extra light is too light. Italics, I'd rather use CSS and let the browser do that. You can just select on italic. It really does not look that much different. Bold light, okay. Let me see. I move to trash. Medium, okay, we could keep medium. Maybe regular, semi-bold. No semi-bold, italic, and no thin. That is just too thin and not accessible. So we're going to stick with these 5. We're going to have light, regular, medium, semi-bold, and bold. We're going to have 5 fonts. But check it out. These 5 fonts, 765 KB, which is ridiculous. So we are not going to upload those. You know, we're not going to upload all of that because that's just crazy high. I'm going to go here to Font Squirrel. And we're going to use a generator right here. I'm going to optimize these. And if you guys want to know how to do this, I did just put out a video like a couple weeks ago on it. I do this over and over and over all the time. So again, just becomes second nature. Let's upload these. All right. We're going to do Wolf and Wolf 2. It's going to take a second for them to generate. Let me just make sure I got my settings right. All right, everything looks good. It's going to pop up any second now. Come on. Yeah, these are all good to use. Yeah, when you upload them, for some reason, it doesn't look like anything is happening, but it is. While that's uploading here, let me go ahead and set things up here so we could multitask. All right, I'm going to go over here to custom fonts. Let me set it up. We're going to add pop-ins. Right, we're going to add a font variation. The first one we're going to do is 300. We're going to add a 400. That's going to be our regular. We're going to add a 500. It's going to be for our medium. We're going to add a 6, which is going to be for our semi-bold and then bold. I'm probably going to remove one of them. I usually like to only use 4. 5 is a lot. We'll see as we build our font styles. All right. Here we go. Okay, so everything is good here. Now let's go ahead and download these. Usually it's pretty quick. All right, cool. Let's go. Oops. Let's go back over here to the downloads, open it up. And I'm going to remove all these files I don't need just to clean it up. They add in these HTML files. Again, this is the OCD right here that I got. I can't just leave clutter. It has to be clean and uncluttered. Now it's going to be a whole lot easier. That's why I keep doing that. All right. Let's go back here and add it. So I'm going to go here to my Wolf, to downloads, right over here. All right, and that's going to be a light. The 300 is light. And check it out. It's 11 KB. All right, just to give you, like, look at this is actually double. That was like only TTF. This is Wolf and Wolf 2. But the whole file is only 100 KB. So we went from like 700 to like 100. All right, let me go back here and add the Wolf 2. And these are all that I add. I'm not going to worry about anything else. I'm not going to worry about these right here. All right, let's go to the 400 and regular. All right, and again, regular for the Wolf 2. All right, we're going to go to medium. And then medium Wolf 2. All right, let's go to the semi-bold. Yeah, I'm probably going to remove one of these. I feel like having medium, semi-bold, and bold is repetitive. I feel like not all of them are going to be needed. When we style them up right now, I'll see, like maybe it'll feel too bold. I'll just go by how it's starting to feel with the fonts. Good thing we do have everything set up already. So the next step is going to go a lot faster. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and publish this. Dope. We are there. Now let's go over here. I'm going to, let me update this and refresh it. And let's get these font styles going. All right, now let's see. I'm curious. How is the front end looking now? I know it's looking kind of broken. I might have to go in and, yeah, still is. Huh, I'll figure that out. All right, cool. So I already got everything laid out, and I usually do this extra large title. And check it out. I do this on purpose. I don't use the word header. Sorry, my throat. I don't use the word header. And the reason why I use title is because I don't want this to be associated to a header. I don't want the titles to be thought of like this needs to be for H3. This needs to be for H1 or H2. That's more of the SEO process. Instead, I want this to be a title and not a header. Because if we go over here, stop sliding out. If we go back here to the site settings, we're going to have the typography where you could change everything based on that. And look at, I could already, okay, so this is where we have, yeah, we ran across this issue last week. We're unable to change all of it. You know what I'm going to do? This will help out. I'm just going to, and for some reason, we're not able to delete it. Like, theoretically, when we click on clear, it should clear. Okay, I don't want to get stuck on that right now. We're going to come back to that. But what I want to do is I don't want to associate my titles with this when it comes to the sizing. Instead, I want to make these titles over here on my global fonts. And you see, I just want to focus on the actual title. What kind of a title is it? Because if we go to like the homepage, the banner, I want the extra large title on the banner. The bigger titles, medium and smaller, so on. Okay, cool. So with that, let's see. I've styled all these up already, so we're good with them. We could go quickly then. All right. We're just going to connect the custom font to each one of these. And I don't remember, did we do? We didn't do mobile. We did mobile last week as well. Okay, super dope. Okay. Oh, this is a breeze right here. See, we already did all the tedious work. So now this part is breezing right here. All right, just connect all these. Pop-ins. All right, let's take a look at it now, though, because I want to see, is this going to look right? You know, like this is where we start to get into it and like make the changes. Like I'm going to make the changes in here. The one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go out here. All right, first off, the reason why all these look the way they do, last week we've already connected them. So the typography, this is already connected to our extra bold. Now, if I'm going to go in and I'm going to change my banner text, the extra large text, I'm not going to create a banner like this. I'm not going to make a banner. And I'm not going to come in here and give this a style. Let's just go ahead and give it the colors. I'm not going to do this. I'm like, you know what? This is too bold. I don't want this to be bold. I'm not going to come in here and let me see. I'm not going to come in here and start to make changes in it. What I'm going to do is let's go back here, connect it. If this is looking too bold, like, do you know what? This is not fitting the design. I feel this is too bold. This is where we come back to our site settings and we make all the adjustments in here. This is why we need to take time in this process, because once this part is dialed in right here, once you feel 100% confident, like, you know, okay, I'm not really feeling this hard bold. I feel this is too bold right here. I do like the semi-bold. You go with that and you dial it in, and you dial it in on all the other ones. You start building buttons. Maybe this button is not bold enough. Maybe you need a little bit of letter spacing, but you dial it in all right here. And once that part is done, then you can move forward, and every bit of text on the website is following only what is inside here. This is how to keep a design system. I feel like we're good here. I'm going to remove this bold as well. You see here, I did have it at 800. I wonder why I fell off. Okay, I'm good with the font sizes. Okay, I'm good with that one. You know, the small title, I'm going to make that one bold. Let's make that one bold right there. The large body text, let me see. Is it a little too light? Huh. Nah, let's stick with normal. The button text, I am going to make, you know what? The semi-bold was pretty good for the button text. I like my text to be a little bold. All right, body text. This is good right here. I do like the bigger font size on it. It's a clean font, easy to read. All right, and you know what? The subheader, don't know if I'm feeling this capitalization style. I might not even, well, no, I do want to use a subheader. You know what? I'm thinking to remove that subheader and use a small title. Well, what we're going to do in the next step. All right, let me go ahead and save this right here. And let's go ahead and end the screen share. So what we're going to do inside the next step next week now that we got our font set up, we have the colors, we have our spacing. Now we're going to go in and we're going to quickly draft up a wireframe. We're going to get a flow. We're going to make sure we include the things that give the human emotional connection. We include trust, that we're guiding the users the right way. And we're going to create a very clean layout and flow. And as we're doing that and dialing it in, we're going to jump back to that brand page. If we need to adjust some text, we're going to adjust that there. We're going to make sure the globals for everything. Say we want to have a border radius. Maybe it's too sharp. Maybe the corners just are too sharp. Maybe, you know, like when we're applying the colors, we're applying ocean-like colors. Maybe we want it a bit softer. We'll go back to our brand guide page. We'll adjust it there. And that is how we keep it consistent. Woo! Okay. All right. We did an hour and a half on that one. I said, I told my girlfriend, okay, we're sticking to an hour. I promise. But I love doing this. I have fun with it. I hope you guys all have fun too as well. I hope you all learn. Well, okay, let me go to the questions. All right, cool. So we do have questions in here. Let me kind of scroll back up. The skating choreographer. What's up, man? How are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, I'm going back up. All right, Pez likes Poppins as well. Cool, cool, cool. I see some questions. Charlie B, yeah, Font Squirrel. I just put out a video on it. Definitely check that out. That one has been just a complete game changer on optimizing my fonts. I've been getting font files down to crazy small sizes. Pez, definitely. Okay, you guys got to listen to Pez. Hit the like button. All right. Cool, cool. What kind, Patel's asking, what kind of a desktop widget am I using? What do you mean by desktop widget? What was I doing? Do you mean the browser? If you meant the browser, I'm using Arc, which is like a newer browser. It uses Chrome, but it organizes things a whole lot differently. Okay, Charlie asked a really good question. Why upload both Wolf and Wolf 2? Well, theoretically, you don't need both of them. Like Wolf is probably the best option because you're going to have the most compatibility and it's highly optimized already. It's going to be compatible for like even older Android phones and, you know, newer and a bit, you know, it's not going to be compatible for old stuff, but old stuff to me, they're not going to know the difference between the fonts anyways because they're seeing everything on an old device and outdated browser. But if we put Wolf 2, it's going to be for the newer stuff, and it's even a bit more optimized. And if the computer, whatever somebody's on the browser, can't, you know, read Wolf 2, it will default back to Wolf. So that way it just helps with the compatibility. I don't add TTF in there. I just, you know, it depends. I would add TTF only if the project needed it. It would be on a case-by-case situation. You know, if it's like a big brand, say like a global brand, I probably would add a TTF in there because they need to have more of that brand consistency and make sure that everybody's seeing it, especially since usually big brands have their own personal fonts, not using like Google fonts. All right, let me see. Oh, okay. Pez. Okay, yeah, like Stage Manager. So this is Arc. It's an Arc browser. You can check it out. Just put Arc browser and you can look it up. It's one of those things that you got to get an invite to. All right. I hope you guys have fun. Oh, Tiffany, good morning. It's all good. The recording is coming up. All right. Hey, just really quick too. All right. I haven't really plugged my stuff. All right. I'm a creative. I'm a designer. I started off as a developer. So when it comes to like marketing and sales, I'm not really out there plugging stuff like a marketer. Like really good people at marketing and sales are going to be plugging their stuff all the time. For me, I want to do this to help out and to give value. And I have fun with it too. Like I had a blast today. But I am going to plug something right now because let me actually do a screen share because okay, that's there. Because this right here, I don't know if you guys seen it yet. I have the Design with Elementor course right here. It's actually 2 courses in one. It's a web design course with Elementor. Everything done inside containers. This was a 4-month project, and I've already been seeing crazy results with it. Oh, excuse me. I've already been seeing crazy results with this right here. I've been seeing just like, I've seen it work, which is really cool. Now, originally, I priced it really low because I wanted it to be affordable for everybody everywhere. I wanted it to be accessible. And I know that a lot of us are in different parts of the world where our economies are different. So what I did was I priced it low because I wanted it to be reached out there. But here's the thing. This course is not something that should be priced low because there's a whole lot into it. It's not just a bunch of lessons. I mean, there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot. You can check it out. But where I'm going now with this is the price is going up on it. I'm putting it up. But what I do have, I did open up for support for people in certain parts of the world where the economy is much, much different. So with the support for some countries out there, it's going to be more affordable. But then I'm raising this up next week. That way it's priced where it should be because this should be a whole lot more, especially what's in it. Just want to throw that out there in case if you haven't checked it out yet. Let me see. I'm not good at plugging this kind of stuff. I'm not a sales guy. I like being creative and having fun. But you know what? This is something that a lot of love and care went into. It's already getting awesome results, and I got to do better at getting it out there to everybody. So just want to throw it out there. Tiffany, cool. Thanks. I appreciate it. Definitely. All right. Dope. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any questions before we bounce off. All right. Any questions? Any questions before we bounce off? Pez, was that hit from a tequila bottle? Okay, I think that is the best question of the night. If it is, man, it's a pretty big bottle. I think it would be getting a whole lot more interesting, probably. All right. Any other? Let me see. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all watching. We're going to be back next week, and we're going to take this to the finish line. We're going to wrap it up. I'm going to show you inside the next live stream next week how we're going to take this design system that we got. We're going to fix out this layout, and we're going to make this look really dope. I'm going to show you the whole process along the way. I appreciate you all for watching. You guys make this possible. And yeah. All right. See you guys. Peace.